Good day, friends. Since I retired, I was 54. I get asked a lot of questions about retiring at such an early age. Most of those questions start off financially, but once you get that past, you get past that part of the discussion, it always comes down to these three questions. Um, what do you do all day? Are you bored? And can you really spend 24/7 with your wife? Almost everybody gets to these questions after they work out whether they can retire. They're fearful of, just sitting around and watching TV, being bored, in retirement. And as you can see, my first reaction to that is to laugh. One of the last things I do is watch TV. I actually probably watch 25% of the TV that I watched when I was working, so far less TV due to the things that I'm involved in. So today's video, I'm going to dive into these questions a little bit. Hopefully they will be informative to you. If you got any questions, reach out to me. I will start off with some big picture things where I've spent my time, and then I'll kind of dive into what I did last week. So it's kind of a week in the life of Joe. Sounds like fun, right? Hey, this is Joe Kuhn of Lean Driven Reliability. Way off the topic of reliability, but hey, this should be fun. So, hey, the best analogy I was given on retirement, this really fits, is every day is Saturday. So that's the mindset you need to get into. Every day is Saturday, and there's no such thing as weekends, so pretty good. So at a high level, I have four children. One lives in Idaho, one in Colorado, one in Indianapolis, one in Virginia. Exciting places to travel and see those kids where they're at. We go to Florida at least once a year. This year we actually went twice for about a week and a half each. So we've made 5 trips so far this year. This is being made in the middle of August, and we've made 5 roughly almost 2-week trips this year. We've been gone 9 weeks. This is the 33rd week, so that's about 33% of the time we've been traveling, seeing our kids or on vacation, extending time with the kids. Like my daughter in Idaho, we spent 13, 14 days in Utah along the route to go see her. So I got that traveling. Then I run my business, Lean Driven Reliability. I do on-site and remote R&M consulting. I do career coaching, and I do resume writing. Some of that's a phone call, some of it's a Zoom meeting, some of it's email, and some of it's me going to the site. Far less site visits this year, due to COVID and restrictions. You folks know, you're tuning into this, I have a YouTube channel. I got 160 or so videos out there. I get questions from those, I get emails, those stimulate phone calls, and I give several free coaching sessions off that. I offer free 1-hour coaching to anybody on any topic that I can help with. So spend time on that. I'm a guest speaker at SMRP, which is a Society of Maintenance and Reliability Professionals. I've done that twice so far. This year I'm doing it again. And I'm also speaking at the NORIA Reliability Conference in October. So those are week-long conferences that I go to that I am speaking at. So that, make some, refresh some relationships, get to learn a few things and be a guest speaker. Most of you know that in 2020 I did write a book. That was about 4 months of work. Published 2 magazine articles, and I was currently working on my second book, just outlining it right now. I am a guest speaker at a local university regarding organizational management, from my management days, and talk to the students about my experiences, experiential learning for the students, good stuff. I'm president of a nonprofit for my local hometown, supporting our parks. So the neighborhood parks, we got 7 of them, so I help with fundraising and education of our parks and enjoyment of our parks. I go to the Parks Board meeting, town council meetings, local government, exciting. I'm also president of my neighborhood HOA, Homeowners Association, so that gets me meeting neighbors and things like that. So I started an investment club with two other individuals where a couple times a month we get together, talk about saving, investing, spending, strategies in retirement, Roth conversions, when to take Social Security, pensions, insurance. There's a lot of decisions in retirement, folks, and bringing on confidants in that along that journey triples or quadruples your learning experience. So that investment club's been a lot of fun. So that's kind of at a high level. Some other things that I'm involved in is there's a retirement group that meets from my plant that I work for, Alcoa. Each Friday we meet for about an hour and a half. I enjoy connecting with old friends. I'll send texts. We'll have lunches. We'll grab a beer at the end of the day. That's about 5 to 10 hours a month, where I was rushed in those relationships in the past, like, hey, I gotta go, got this, got that. Now I seek those out. Those might be an hour and a half, 2 hours a piece, sitting on the back porch and talking about life. I enjoy that. I joined a gun club. I do some trap shooting and fishing. I help out at my mom and dad's house. My mom and dad are both in their 80s. And just this week, as an example, I power washed their driveway and power washed their garage and house. It took about half a day. Do stuff like that all the time. Got yard work, landscaping stuff I work on. Home maintenance and improvement. Installed a wood floor, installed a sprinkler systems. We're doing some painting around the house. Those all take time. Then I work a lot on cost reduction things, like I cut the cable this year. Saving $110 a month by just being a streamer, and things like health insurance and just different cost things that I dive into now that I have the time, and actually helping out quite a bit on our retirement journey. I am a vivacious learner, folks. My son and I both have Audible accounts, and we share book discussions, and read this book, read this book. I've read about 20 in the last 2 years, books, some of them multiple times if I really enjoyed them. That's a habit I have. I don't try to read hundreds of books and, put them, hey, I've read these 500 books. I'd rather read one book 5 times than to read 5 books, because I get deeper and deeper and deeper understanding the multiple times I read that. I don't hear a lot of people talking about that, but it really works for me. I'd rather master a handful of books than to be a novice on hundreds. Just as another example of learning, I would listen to a podcast of World War I, which was fascinating. It's part of Hardcore History. It's 27 hours long, and I've listened to it twice. It tells the personal stories and struggles of World War I. I've also been hooked on this philosophy podcast, 72 hours, and I've listened to it once already. And it starts with Socrates at 500 BC, and then goes through the values and beliefs of philosophers through time. Fascinating, the link to religions and how people have evaluated what makes a good life and how to work together, the role of government, science, and how that overlaps with daily lives and religion. Fascinating. Obviously, I'm a YouTube junkie. I listen to comedians. I listen to a lot about investments, a lot about retirement, planning. I spend time planning vacations. When I went out to Idaho and Utah, you spend hours planning that trip, listening to other people's recommendations through YouTube. Also I'm very big on health and fitness, and there's a lot of YouTube, a lot of learnings out there, a lot of books that you can, and podcasts. They're just overwhelming. If you're wanting to learn, there's never been a better time to be retired, because the information free is at your fingertips most often. You can join Audible, $14 a month, I believe it is, but there's an enormous amount of free content out there. I'm also part of a group that we're starting a book discussion club, where we're going to talk about things like the founding fathers of the United States, the Civil War, any history topics, where we read a book and then we get together and discuss it, just as a group of guys, so excited about that. From a lifestyle standpoint, I've slowed down tremendously. The way I describe it to people, I've been in fifth gear, think of manual transmission, fifth gear, and I was paid enormously well to be in fifth gear. Multiple decisions, making them real quick, high caffeine, very fast-paced life. And retirement, I've intentionally tried to dial that down to second gear. There's no rush to cram anything in. Every day's a Saturday. No such thing as a weekend. This actually took me months. I'd say 6 months to get that mindset of slowing down. I don't have to get 10 things done today. It's okay to get 3. Slow down a little bit. Have some relationships. I exercise daily. I love to use my new pellet grill to smoke meat. Much more time to spend with friends. Think about all those 5-minute encounters that you would run into somebody at the grocery store. Those turn into hour-long discussions and maybe follow up the next day, and the beer on the back porch, something like that. Relationships mean a lot to me, and I have the time for it to nurture them. Hey, let's dive in the last week. Just have, what did the last week look like? So, hey, first of all, daily, I exercise for about 90 minutes. That includes, getting ready, stretching, lifting weights. I got an elliptical, no impact. I really like that. Then kind of decompressing afterward, stop sweating after that, and then taking a shower. That also, at least 90 minutes. I read a few newspapers all online on my phone. I reply to emails that I get. That's a routine I go through. YouTube comments, that's about 30 minutes. So my daily routine includes about 3.5 hours worth of just standard things. You throw in lunches and breakfast and dinner inside of that, you're up to 5 hours a day is the standard. So, hey, let's dive into Monday. Monday, I had a Park Pals meeting, which is my nonprofit for parks. I had a physical with my doctor, and then I had one virtual coaching session with a client. On Tuesday, I had a dentist appointment. I had an investment club meeting. I worked on a Park Pals project, the nonprofit group that I'm leading. It's on QR codes, putting some QR codes on signage out at the parks so people can donate to the parks. There's not enough money to maintain and much less improve the parks, so how do we get the community involved in contributing? One of the ways is putting these QR codes out there so people can contribute to maybe $5 a month to maintaining the parks. Wednesday, hey, that's when I power washed my mom and dad's house. That was a half day. I also had an assignment out of the investment club. I was reviewing a software package, which is outstanding. If you want to hear about that, let me know. Outstanding package in retirement to look at when to take Social Security and and how much Roth conversions to do and what impact that makes over the life cycle of your investments. So pretty cool. Thursday, I had to get a leak in a tire on my wife's car fixed. I spent 60 minutes with a friend at a store, ran into a friend at Best Buy, and spent 60 minutes with him just talking. I mean, I would have never done that before. I had a discussion with a leader of small businesses in community about an idea that he had towards helping small businesses through consultants like me, partnering on giving them a ultra low cost R&M coaching that they would never be able to afford, and leverage the Chamber of Commerce finances to help offset some of those costs and pay me just a little bit of money. So really good. I also had a discussion with somebody on rolling mill capacities. I have 16 years of rolling mill experience, so somebody called me and was talking about that, all for free, just having fun. Friday, I had my Alcoa retirement group meeting. Again, that's an hour and a half, and I had 1 hour of virtual coaching that I gave an employee or client's probably a better word. Saturday, my wife and I were looking for a replacement car. We got 175,000 miles on our main car that we drive around, and as you know, I travel around the country quite a bit. I also worked on my home theater, got a little sound problem. That I'm working on that, and then I had 60 minutes discussion with a friend just on the phone, so good conversation. Sunday, went to church, took pictures of my beer can collection. So my two brothers and I collected beer cans in the 70s, and we have 1970s. We have almost 1,100 cans, and we're interested in passing that gift off to somebody else, selling that, maybe get $1,000, $2,000 for that, and somebody else will take great joy in those cans. So I have a lot of open slots in these days, even with how full these 7 days were, but they're filled with those overarching themes, listening to YouTube, listening to a few books, things like that. So that's kind of what a typical week looks like. Other questions I got. Hey, gosh, looks like you're busy. No, I'm not busy. There's always time to change priorities when you're in retirement. If you got 10 things you want to get done, you get 2 done. Who cares? Another day. Tomorrow's a Saturday, right? Every day's a Saturday. I always got tomorrow. Boy, if you're going to be this busy, you might as well work, right? Time in retirement, a couple things move up in priority. Time. Time becomes your most valuable asset. And I don't want to exchange that time for money. I spend a lot of time on health. Health comes up in priority in retirement. You put that off while you're working and eat bad food and don't exercise enough. And relationships jump up in value. So relationships, time, health, all those jump up. And they will for you too. I want to spend every second of my time on purpose and not have somebody else dictate where I spend my time. Bored? No, not bored. You can see I've got, probably 40 different areas of priority that I'm working on. Stress? I'm not stressed, folks. Don't think at all that I'm stressed. Someday I may go to a little bit slower pace, but I love helping people. I love learning. I love building relationships. That's where I'm spending my time. And all that turns into far less couch time and TV time. Fulfilling, yes. Let's see. Remember, every day is Saturday. That's kind of the main theme here. The last question that was on there is, hey, can you really spend 24/7 with your wife? Absolutely. We spend an enormous amount of time together. It's not all perfect. But, we're growing together, we're learning together, we're partnering through things here, and we have to understand, when I was working, we had that automatic buffer of 10 hours, 11 hours a day, and now I just kind of separate myself out, like this is my office that I'm in right now, and I'm making YouTube videos. My wife knows, hey, Joe's busy, leave him alone for these things. So you have to carve out time for the things you enjoy. Like my wife doesn't listen to the health things I do. She doesn't not involved in my investment club meetings. All those things are things that I do. Go help my mom and dad. Those are things I do and carve out. But I have to communicate, hey, I'm doing this tomorrow and I'm doing this week. Typically that's a Sunday discussion. This is what I'm working on this week. This is what I got. And then sometimes she's got something that overlaps and I need to push it out a day. Every day is Saturday. Doesn't matter. Remember, hey, folks, time is a critical asset. Health is a critical asset in retirement. Finances is something everybody discusses, but being bored in retirement, I can't imagine that happening to you. Take the leap. This is Joe out.